First of all, welcome everybody. We see that we got already 73 attendants on this webinar, and they are growing. So we are very happy for this interest raised by our events. Today is dedicated to the presentation of the content, the outcome of our second CACM Annual Report for the 2019. The first issue was published a few months ago at the end of 2019 for the previous year. Now it is the second one. This is our first webinar, even if it is the second report. The webinar solution, as you can imagine, is also a reaction to the constraint given to the pandemic situation, but it is also a strategic choice to try to open up the attendance to reach a wider audience and spread the information which we think would be of interest for many stakeholders. It is the first webinar, so we hope that everything will work fine and will work smoothly. Let me thank some people before starting. First of all the people working in the SDAC and SIDC coupling projects, because basically what we are reporting here is not only information provided by them, but the outcome of the work of these two fundamental coupling projects in Europe. Let me thank some people who actively worked on this product. Our technical task force leader, our communication task force leader, Rodrigo Escobar, Alvaro Torregano, and Kata Deher, which dedicated a lot of effort in producing the quality outcome you see today. Let me thank all the panelists, which will be then introduced and will present you today our information. And especially let me thank also TSOs. You know that this is a joint effort with ENTSOe. Today here it is represented by Thomas van der Broek, and I would just leave in the words for an introductory hello to people before going on in the content of today's agenda. So Thomas.
Yes, okay, thanks Cosimo. Indeed, so good morning everyone. Similar as Cosimo, I'm also very pleased to welcome you all on this webinar on the CACM report 2019, which is indeed presented to you jointly by TSOs and NEMOs. I indeed was asked to say a few introductory words today as a representative of the TSO, on which I'm very pleased and honored to do, because of course the results we can present to you today are aspects where I myself have been heavily involved, and it's always also pleasant to see that they lead to presentable results for a broader audience than the inside NEMO TSO world. As Cosimo said, indeed, it's not the first report being published. There has been one of last year, but clearly this is an upgraded version. And indeed, the webinar is organized as a first attempt for presenting it to the broader audience. And it's very nice to see that there is a higher amount of interest for the joint activities of TSOs and NEMOs in the operations of the market coupling of day ahead and intraday. For you indeed to know, perhaps some of them know it already, but indeed it's clear that it's indeed not a market report that will be presented, but indeed it's more a report where TSOs and NEMOs show to the public how the operations and the process of the market coupling in day ahead and intraday is handled, and what kind of activities are actually done behind the scenes to make sure that everything works or is fixed in case of incidents. Of course, they do happen sometimes as well. And perhaps, and that's even perhaps more important, is that it will also continue to work in the future with the challenges that we have ahead of us, both for day ahead and intraday. So the info that will be presented to you is perhaps a bit less obvious and tangible for those that are less directly involved in the daily business. We know all the market KPIs, the prices, etc. But these kind of events and reports are thereby then also a good opportunity to inform you all about the other things that are ongoing in the market operation. And it's clear that we are jointly reporting to you the report here today as TSOs and NEMOs, clearly indicating that the operation of the market coupling is a joint process. Even the concrete parts related to the algorithm, which will be elaborated a bit further here in the report, where obviously one would think that NEMOs in the lead. that's true, of course, but also over there, coordination and cooperation is crucial and is definitely the key for success. So that's also something I want to emphasize, and which I, from my personal experiences, see happening every day. The cooperation I have on algorithm topics, as well as in my role as SDAC MSD convener, I see this, that TSOs and NEMOs are indeed working jointly, putting efforts together, also how it is envisaged by CACM, and certainly on the algorithm topics. That's something where these efforts have been increased significantly the past year, and which will definitely continue to work, where we will definitely continue to work on. So also what I think definitely future CACM reports will further show this results and give you more proof on this. But I would say first things first, and let us start with the one of this year, which will be then further presented by dedicated experts of the both time frames. So I would say I would tend to say I give the word to them, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Kata will first also shortly give some introduction, and then we go to the introduction of the report itself.
Yes,
so
indeed.
I would say thanks all for joining, and yeah, also happy to join and be present here as a TSO representative.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, Kata, our task force leader for reporting and communication, will introduce the agenda for today, the list of panelists, and you the technical information for your interaction as audience with this webinar. Please, Kata.
Thank you, Cosimo. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad that so many of you were able to join today. So my name is Kata Fehér, and I'm the leader of the Reporting and Communication Task Force of the NEMO Committee. I would like to bring your attention to the agenda, the speakers, and present some technical information. The webinar should complete it around 1 o'clock. It will begin a welcoming session with the NEMO Committee Chair and the TSO representative. Actually, that happened. Followed by an executive summary of the NEMO Committee Chair. After that, from 10:30, the single day ahead overview is followed by the All NEMO Committee task force, technical task force leader, which will end up in a question and answer session. During the webinar, you can send us questions in the chat area, which will be answered during the Q&A session. The answers will be general replies, so because we do not have enough time to answer them separately. At 11:30, the single intraday coupling will be introduced by the chair of the SIDC Quality Assurance and Release Management Working Group and the chair of the Market and System Design Working Group, which will conclude in a Q&A session. So once more, please send your question in the chat area during the webinar, and the speakers will answer them during the Q&A session. At 12:30, the webinar will be closed with some concluding remarks from the SDAC and the SIDC co-chairs, the NRA representatives, and the NEMO Committee Chair. The questions which we cannot answer during the webinar will be collected and answered later on the NEMO Committee website. And now let me introduce you to the speakers. Stefano Alaimo, the NEMO co-chair of SIDC. Cosimo Campidoglio, the chair of the NEMO Committee. Rafael Gomez Elvira, the NEMO co-chair of SDAC. Alvaro Torrejano, the leader of the technical task force of the NEMO Committee. David Mischka, the chair of the SIDC Market and System Design Working Group. Vladimir Shetek, the chair of the SIDC Quality Assurance and Release Management Working Group. Ole Jakob Hoyland, the TSO co-chair of SDAC. Thomas van den Broeke, the co-chair of the SDAC Market System and Design Task Force. Jean Verseil, the TSO co-chair of SIDC. And the three co-chairs of the NRA CACM Task Force, Salvatore Lanza from the Italian NRA, Martin Klein from the Dutch NRA, and Nico Schutit from the Belgian NRA. And now some more technical information. Please be informed that all participants, except the speakers, will be muted the entirety of the webinar. So that also means that the video functions won't work either. This webinar is recorded, and the link for the video will be available at the ENTSOe and the NEMO Committee website. And I would like to encourage you here to subscribe to the NEMO Committee website update, so you will be informed as soon as the recorded video is available. And now I'd like to ask Cosimo to start his presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kata.